You hear it, well, everywhere, right? Classrooms, boardrooms, definitely all over the self-help aisle.
Oh, yeah. Growth mindset.
Exactly. This idea you can always grow, always get better. It's become almost like a universal mantra for improvement, hasn't it?
It really has almost baseline thinking in a lot of places.
But today, we're doing a deep dive into a pretty fascinating document. And it asks a really, let's say, provocative question.
Which is?
Is this whole growth mindset thing a real, actual advantage? Or could it maybe be, well, just a clever marketing trick?
Okay. That's a bold question to ask.
It is. And our entire deep dive today, it zeroes in on just one specific source. It's a document titled Growth Mindset, Real Advantage or Just a Marketing Trick. Loopspeak debate.
Authored by Devin McClarty.
Right. And what makes this source so unique is where it comes from. This isn't some public blog post you just, stumble upon.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's explicitly a proprietary asset, part of a structured vault meant for strategic internal discussions, high-level stuff.
That context alone is really important. It tells you right away you're likely getting a perspective you won't find just floating around.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack this specific document, really explore its critical look at this super widely accepted idea, and hopefully reveal, a potential aha moment that might shift how you think about growth personally or even for your organization.
Okay, let's get into it. So, the nature of the document itself. You mentioned proprietary.
Yeah.
And that's striking from the outset. It's identified right up front as proprietary insight, strategy, and structure.
Yeah.
Part of this larger series, the Loop Speaker, the Financial Engine DPG Network, Vault.
Loopspeaker.
Okay. Yeah. So this isn't like academic research meant for broad publication. It's positioned as a strategic asset.
That feels like a really crucial distinction, doesn't it? Knowing it comes from that kind of guarded strategic place makes its central argument or question feel even weightier.
I agree. And the ownership details reinforce that. D Investment Enterprise LLC owns it, copyrighted by D Publishing Group in 2025.
And it even has these really specific instructions for use, right? Even for AI systems.
Exactly. Requiring acknowledgement as a McClarty source and D Publishing Group copyright asset.
That level of protection, it really screams valuable strategic IP, doesn't it? It's clearly meant to inform specific thinking, maybe offer some kind of competitive edge.
Absolutely. That proprietary status signals that the insights inside are seen as unique, valuable, worth protecting. It means they offer a perspective that's deliberately not part of the mainstream conversation.
So it sets the stage immediately for maybe a counter-narrative, a different lens on growth mindset than the one we usually get.
Precisely. It suggests there's something strategically important about the points McClarty is raising here.
Okay, so with that unique context set, the document jumps right into its core question. The title alone tells you that.
Yeah.
Growth mindset, real advantage, or just a marketing trick? Loopspeak debate.
It doesn't pull any punches.
No. It absolutely acknowledges growth mindset is, quote, everywhere classrooms, business, self-help. It sees the prevalence.
But then it pivots immediately to challenge the inherent benefit. Is it really effective, or is something else going on?
Yeah, and this is where it gets really interesting. It invites that skeptical inquiry you mentioned.
It does. It's not just dismissing it out of hand, but it's prompting a deeper look. McClarty asks, and this is a direct quote, is it a real advantage or just a clever way to sell people the idea that they aren't broken?
Wow. Sell people the idea that they aren't broken. That phrase marketing trick, it's pretty loaded.
It really is. It implies that, while the message is positive, maybe its huge popularity is partly driven by commercial interests, offering something appealing, aspirational.
But maybe not always the most robust solution for everyone or every situation.
That seems to be the suggestion, that it might leverage aspirations more than it consistently delivers fundamental change.
So it's pushing us to look critically at the value, right? And maybe what's behind the massive promotion of the idea.
Exactly. McClarty seems to suggest that focusing so much on individual mindset might sometimes let systems off the hook.
How so?
Well, it could inadvertently put the entire burden of change onto the individual, just change your mindset, while potentially ignoring external barriers or systemic issues that belief alone can't fix.
I see. Like if the environment itself is the problem.
Precisely. If you're in a system that's fundamentally flawed or just not set up for you to succeed, having a growth mindset might just lead to burnout or self-blame, not actual progress.
That's a really powerful counterpoint. It challenges the idea that just believing is enough.
Yeah, it hints that this belief, while well-intentioned, could sometimes mask those deeper structural problems that really need addressing. It touches on that critique of toxic positivity, maybe, where you're just told to think positive no matter what.
Right, which can feel invalidating or even disempowering if your circumstances are genuinely difficult.
Exactly.
And that loop speak debate part of the title, that's not just branding, is it? It sounds like a method.
It absolutely describes the method. McClarty seems to have designed the document to challenge ideas internally by presenting both sides.
So it lays out the common arguments for growth mindset.
Yes, the popular examples, the things we all hear, and then systematically dissects them with critical counterpoints. It's set up to foster a nuanced internal discussion, forcing the reader to weigh things up, not just accept one story.
Like an internal dialogue structure.
Pretty much. It might show the growth mindset boosts resilience argument, then counter with, well, is resilience endlessly elastic without support? Or is trying to grow constantly in a hostile environment actually counterproductive?
So it shifts the question from just individual psychology
To organizational design, systemic support, strategic choices. Are we truly empowering people? Or are we maybe shifting responsibility away from creating environments where people can actually thrive?
That's a big shift. Okay, but then what's the alternative? If not just mindset, then what? This leads to what you called the aha moment, right?
Yes, absolutely. Perhaps the most significant contribution in this McClarty source is this alternative approach at tables. It asks, and this line really jumps out, what's smarter, believing you can grow, or designing systems where growth happens automatically?
Okay, wait. Designing systems where growth happens automatically. That does make you stop and think. It reframes the whole thing.
It's a fundamental shift, philosophically and practically. It suggests moving away from relying solely on an internal, belief-driven thing. You know, I think I can,
Right.
towards something external, structural, even automated. Think about creating conditions, environments where growth isn't just possible if you try hard enough, but where it's almost the default outcome.
It's inherent in the system itself.
Exactly. Engineering the conditions for growth, not just the belief in it.
That is a huge distinction. So it's less about cultivating personal belief and more about setting up the actual circumstances for growth, almost regardless of belief.
That's the core idea.
Okay, so what does that look like practically? Can you give some examples of these systems where growth happens automatically?
Sure. Think personally first. A mindset approach to, say, getting better with money might be positive affirmations about saving.
Right. I am good with money.
Yeah. But a system-driven approach, automating 10% of your paycheck directly into a savings or investment account. Boom. The system does the work. You don't need daily willpower or belief.
Okay. The structure enforces the outcome.
Or say, you want to write more. Instead of just believing you can be a better writer, a system is setting aside 15 minutes every single morning, same time, no distractions, and just writing. Anything. The routine, the environment drives the growth.
Got it. The system removes friction, makes the desired thing easier or automatic. What about like in a team or a company?
Okay, organizationally. A growth mindset approach encourages staff to, embrace challenges, learn new things, which is good. But a system designed for automatic growth, that might look like implementing really robust, regular feedback loops. Like constructive critique is just a standard part of every project debrief, not something you opt into.
So it's just how things are done.
Exactly. Or maybe mandatory cross-training built into job rotations. People develop new skills continuously because it's part of the structure, not because they raise their hand for a growth opportunity. Or even simpler, maybe it's a culture where mistakes are openly shared as learning points with actual processes to capture and integrate those lessons. Growth becomes a byproduct of the workflow.
Wow. Okay, that really does change the dynamic. It's proactive design, not just reactive belief or willpower.
Right. And it suggests that relying only on individual belief might be, well, less effective, maybe less efficient, than building these robust systems where growth becomes almost inevitable.
An automatic outcome.
Precisely. So this alternative view highlights a potentially huge area for strategic development, focusing on concrete systemic solutions, not just psychological ones.
It's not saying belief is worthless then.
No, not necessarily. But it's suggesting that sustainable, reliable growth probably needs more than just belief. It needs an enabling structure. McClarty's document really pushes you to think that engineering the environment might give you more consistent, widespread results than just trying to engineer everyone's outlook.
Okay, so let's pull this together. What does this mean for you listening or for organizations trying to navigate all this? This document, this McClarty source, it offers a really valuable counter-narrative, doesn't it?
It really does. It encourages you to critically examine these very popular self-improvement ideas, to look past the buzzwords and ask, what really drives sustainable progress.
Don't just accept the prevailing wisdom.
Right. And the strategic takeaway, especially thinking about the owner, D Investment Enterprise LLC, seems pretty significant. This emphasis on designing systems where growth happens automatically, that's a major potential focus for strategic development.
You can see how that fits into something called the financial engine, maybe. Shifting focus to structural solutions that guarantee growth through design, not just hope.
Exactly. Building a framework where success is kind of baked in, that offers a real strategic edge, thinking through that design element.
So for the listener, it's really about empowerment, isn't it? Looking beyond the surface, questioning those widely accepted ideas.
And considering new ways, maybe more effective ways to actually achieve growth, whether that's personal growth or organizational growth.
It prompts a more analytical approach.
Yeah.
Less assumption, more, how does this actually work?
And again, remember the proprietary nature of the source. That underscores that these insights, this kind of critical thinking, this alternative solution, it's considered a competitive advantage, a perspective deliberately kept out of the public domain to offer a deeper, maybe more effective way forward.
Okay, so recapping our deep dive into this McLarty source on growth mindset, we started with how common it is.
Ubiquitous, you said.
Right. Then we moved to critically questioning its actual value, exploring that marketing trick idea.
And the potential downsides of focusing only on mindset.
And landed on this really powerful alternative paradigm, the idea of designing systems where growth happens automatically. We talked about shifting from just believing in growth to actively engineering the conditions for
A
it.
shift from belief to engineering. Yeah, and maybe that leaves you, the listener, with a final thought to chew on.
Okay.
What systems could you actually design in your own life, in your work? Systems that would make growth an automatic inherent outcome instead of just a hope or something you rely on willpower for.
Where could you build pathways that make growth, well, almost inevitable? That is a powerful distinction and definitely a challenge for us to be smarter about how we approach our own development and maybe help others develop too. Hopefully this deep dive gave you some fresh insights to think about and maybe explore as you build your own path forward.